Hello YouTube, welcome to SnapCast episode 3. Today we'll be covering Golgotha by Spindleshanks. Allow me to introduce the cast. First up, we got the author of Chain Gun Tom, Mr. Patrick.
Hello everybody.
Yeah, we also got the author of Garrock's Pantheon, Count Lazuli.
Sup, ghouls and gals?
And last but not least, the author of the Devil May Doomed series, JMX 5000. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I like your face.
I like it. I like it too. All right. So here we go. This is Golgotha, everybody. Now, who here is actually? I assume everybody's played it. Who here has actually beaten it?
Sure have. Right here.
Just
I've
Lazuli?
not beaten it.
Yeah.
I've beaten it. Yeah.
Okay.
I think I've beaten this I think I've played this like 3 or 4 times. I actually played it for a live stream a couple days ago, I think. Yeah. I was doing like a ending thing for my Doom 2016 campaign playthrough and just add that into the end for fun.
Yeah, I gotta say, like, this is actually a very horror map, because I know not too many horror maps on SnapMap really get the positives, at least from what I've seen.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of horror maps are just people using the darkest possible room filter and then cranking your speed down to like 10% and just, yeah, they're just unplayable.
Oh my god.
Annoying.
But this is a good example of a horror map done right, where he actually builds tension through various ways.
I think what makes it work is when I was playing it, I was comparing between 2 different types of like genres of like gameplay style horror. You have survival horror and action horror, and I think that this map does action horror really, really well. It's like if you're playing Doom 3 a little bit, where there's action, but it's got like a really, really tense atmosphere. And I actually really like games like that can still be really, really crazy actiony, but still put you on edge like through the entire time. And I think this map does that pretty well, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree.
There was just one joke in the beginning.
Oh.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Place.
We all know. It's
We all know it.
It's funny, but it's so out of place in this map.
It
Yeah,
is.
like nothing like that ever happens afterwards.
Especially since the rest of the map is such a straight horror map, and then there's just one slapstick moment just right there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I like this little introduction though, the black and white filter
Oh, yeah.
and
Yeah.
the piano keys here. See, like he's
yeah.
explaining how to do it. See, and you just hold down that Alt Fire button,
I didn't
and
see
it
that.
shows. Yeah, everybody forgets as soon as they start playing.
God!
I know. Nice little jump scare right at the beginning.
Oh yeah. There's really good movement in this one.
Sorry about that. I forgot about that.
I love how he backlights those screens there with like a decal.
Yeah.
Those blue screens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a nice effect.
That's an interesting way to do like screen effects with decal. You could really do a lot of crazy cool things with decals, honestly.
I'd say it's half the geo.
5.8 days fatality free.
Quality geo, half of the work is decal.
It's
I
kind
thought I
of
have to work with buildings, but okay.
it's kind of funny that he gives you the jump boots like right in the first 30 seconds of the map.
Yeah, I think that could have been. I think he could have definitely probably waited till a little later. You see a lot of mappers do that, where like they give you something like right off the bat, and shit. Oh,
Here's the
Yeah,
joke.
here it is.
And then nothing like that happens again.
Yeah.
Ha Pretty funny.
Oh
Toilet
no,
humor.
wrong map for it.
Yeah.
toilet humor. I love it.
I love those wires though. Look at the wire work terms just there.
Oh, I know. It just blends into the wall.
Such as Spindleshanks' quality.
This right here Yeah, this right here, I really love how he did this.
One of the
Yeah.
You see,
Actually,
plus he's got the steam pipe
After-
that goes off right as you hit. One of the best jump scares I've
Yeah.
seen.
yeah, that actually got me when I played it.
There's actually
I
a
think one of
I love
the
this too. This is good.
oh, this is yeah.
straight
And
out
they all
of
just show up
Condemned.
behind you.
But I think something else happens to them later on, which I.
Wee!
Oh,
There
that
it
face.
Mickey.
I love them Spinkies.
But no, like that that
makes it
venting
really cool.
area.
Yeah, that vent. There's actually a way to if you try to stand up inside that vent, you can actually jump out of the map. And I ended
Yeah.
up doing that in like the first 5 minutes that I played this for the first time, and then I just uploaded it because I was like, hey, fix your map, dude. It's it's broken. And then Taylor had saw it. He's the one who recommended that I play it, and he's like, he got all annoyed. He's like, dude, you got to play that map again. You only got 5 minutes into it, and you already shut it off. Because I started mountain goating
man.
outside the map, and I was like, I'm glad I listened to him though, because it was a good
That
map.
type of glitch, yeah. That type of glitch is just something you really cannot fix, honestly. Especially when you're like crashing through geo like that. Like any type of geo you're crashing through, if you stand up, like it will always, get you through. And look at that, first death
Ooh.
Yeah,
Yes.
that happened quick.
Oh boy.
by a pinky, no less.
Oh,
But no,
yeah.
what I was gonna say about that vent though is that so there's I forgot what the term is, but one thing that I really love is lighting. And when a game developer on any kind of game tries to tell a player where to go, he uses lights. They use lights to indicate like things that you go, like that green circle that's blinking. You go through that vent, and all you see is those green circles like on top,
Right.
and indicating that that's where you go, like this right here, yeah.
Yeah.
But good use of visual indicators.
Lighting. Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's what's called visual language is what it's called. And for a lot of mappers, I really recommend people do a lot of visual language. If you're not gonna like give people like objective markers, then you have to make sure that something that is interactable should have some sort of indication that you can touch it.
Oh,
And I
that
think that's
shoots
always a
through the
really, really
window.
great way to do that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I love how he shoots you through the window when you grab that core. That's
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool.
That's really,
Honestly.
yeah. That's it's like
This room was a
welcome to
little-
the game.
Oh yeah, this one was a little funky to fight in. I won't lie. I got stuck in that corner where you're shooting at right now. I got stuck in a corner over there with these two Hell Knights. I don't think they killed me, but it was really, really bizarre.
Well, and I can tell he's
There you go.
he's increased their health, so they're stronger than normal Hell Knights.
Yes.
But yeah, I get what you're saying. Like, it's easy to get hung up on stuff in this map. That's probably my one complaint about it is that a lot of the props, I think he should have made so that you can just walk through them. Because I tend to
Yeah.
get stuck on like a pile of gore or something, and then I get railroaded. You know.
Yeah, that's especially later on this level that you guys will see as well. And this goes for like any other map or two. Like a lot of props on the ground, you really should just make it to where people could just walk through it because it's really annoying having to stand on those all the time because it gets impeded. Even the enemies
Yeah.
themselves kind of get impeded as well, and stuff.
And it's cool because
And there was another thing. Oh, continue.
I was gonna say this hallway where I'm standing later gets covered in blood because he actually makes
Yeah.
the floor disappear, and then the blood
Mhm.
decals are underneath it later.
Oh,
That's clever.
Yeah.
That's
I
how
think-
you did that.
I think there's another thing that a personal complaint that I had with the map was that I really felt like he should have made it all the ammo pickups not universal.
Oh, weapon specific.
Because those, yeah, like weapon specific. I think if he would have done that, it would have made conserving ammo a bigger thing, especially since it's a horror map. It's a small thing, but I'm so used to having like ammo that's specific for a certain type of weapons now. That when I see a universal ammo case, I just go free BFG ammo.
Yeah.
Well, this map is actually hard enough without
Oh my God.
ammo starvation being an element to it.
That is true.
Although that's something that's a lot in my Aliens map. Is people usually run out of ammo halfway through it, and they're like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah.
A little scare right there.
Yeah.
I love the
lighting.
though.
See, this is nice lighting here.
Everything about
Yeah.
this map visually is just top notch.
It's stunning. It's really stunning. It's awesome. Great way to do like a facility. You know?
I mean, you've got
Like the
props,
lighting.
decals, custom geo, just everything. Spindleshank
there's
is
that blood.
really the master of custom geo. And there, yep, there's the blood I said. You just made it disappear.
Oh yeah. I never noticed that. That's really cool.
Visual stuff is always a really neat thing, especially with the tricks you can pull off.
That was neat.
And stuff like that, you know, it's really neat.
Yeah, how he has the transparent blocking volumes being like the beams of light.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really cool. Does this map have a story or something? I just...
In a way,
it sort of does. It's a little bit ambiguous. It seems to be basically that you're sort of either dead or dying on an operating table, and then your consciousness is like playing this out while you're dying.
Oh yeah, this is the room I was talking about. We were talking about earlier with the gore.
Stuck here.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is where things get kind of hard.
I'm going to say this: Spindleshank doesn't have the intense or bombastic hell, but he really has like a version of it.
Yeah.
Oh, that red screen. Ugh.
Yeah, that got me the first time as well. I was like, what the hell is that?
I do not agree with his decision to put that in there. I think
fat boy, come on.
The battle was challenging
Yeah,
enough
like, I love
without
just look at the horizon. Look at those hills. There's that golden cross right up there.
Oh yeah.
And they're all neat little details.
Yeah, honestly.
And good choice, I think. Good choice, I think, to use the cloudy skybox instead of like the old hell or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
One thing that's really good about foggy skyboxes, or not skyboxes, but the like the fog
environmental
filters,
filter. Yeah.
yeah, is that it really leaves a lot of the other structures up to the imagination.
Right. Well, that's a good point. Yeah,
That's something.
with a thick filter like this, it actually makes everything look better, because if there were no filter at all, then you might see some of some aspects of the geo that maybe look a little cheesy, that don't quite sell it. But with this reddish filter, it just goes with this geo so well.
Exactly.
There's one thing I noticed when I was playing this though, is that I don't know if this was intentional. I think it was, but you saw earlier there where the Mancubus like backed up right through the geo there. Yeah, that's prevalent a lot in this area. I don't think it's all that bad though, but it is something to be noticed.
It's something that's kind of a problem in all snap maps that have a lot of custom geo.
Oh yeah,
That's why
especially
I always put invisible walls in certain areas where I know enemies might back into the geo or something.
And yeah, that can end up being a little bit of an oversight, because like every single piece of geo needs to be like looked at when you're making something like this. So like it's really easy to look over all those like little details, like, hey, this one doesn't make demons not go through it, all that kind of shit. And it's honestly something it's such an easy thing to overlook that I don't really blame a lot of creators for it, honestly.
Yeah,
it's just so easy to look over.
But that's when the random element of if somebody teleports behind some geo, you can't finish the map now.
Yeah. You always gotta make precautions, and always gotta think outside of the box when it comes to like other players playing your map and stuff.
Yeah.
Now, aside from geo, he's actually got some sound design.
Yeah. This area is stunning. It's beautiful in like a building standpoint, And it's beautiful with the filter too. It's a great looking area. Really is.
I really see what you mean, Jude, about how he really integrates the fights with that horrific atmosphere, and they just blend really seamlessly.
With action and horror, because action and horror can go together really well, and some good examples of that is like Dead Space and Resident Evil 4, how tense those games can end up. Oh, and Doom 3, you know, because Doom 3 is to me, Doom 3 is an action horror game more than it is a survival horror game, because constantly that game is like throwing shit at you, and you always have to be on your toes. And I like it when, you know, when creators can make something that's like action horror like. And I think this map does that pretty well.
And look at that cross.
There are things. Oh yeah, that cross. I even like how the decal. I even like how the decal reflects it too. It's really nice. That's a nice thing SnapMap does.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And Golgotha is actually a real biblical reference. I think I did a little research on it. It's supposed to be the hill, I believe, that Jesus was crucified on top of.
I looked that up too, actually. Yeah, it's true.
That's why there's so many crucifixes in this map, I think.
I was about to say, I guess that does make sense because of how like biblical this looks. That really kind of gives it such a like weird feeling too when you start going into that like biblical Christian shit.
Yeah, that's where
it kind of gives it creepier, actually.
It makes it creepier, yeah. It really does.
Well, I mean, what that tells you is that full name, he actually, you know, put some kind of lore and depth into it.
Yeah.
Well, Doom is naturally a little bit biblical because you're talking about demons from hell.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Oh yeah.
It's already bought into
that. I love that too.
And then you go around the corner and
he's not there. Yeah. I love that.
Beautiful.
This part actually did creep me out.
And then he walks. Another one starts walking. Yeah, this is where it really takes you off guard with the way this plays out. People just, you know, just show up where you least expect.
Yeah, I
what the fuck?
Section.
What the?
Oh!
He just got raptured.
That Hell Knight. I saw that. That Hell Knight clipped through the ceiling and came right back down and killed you.
I'm just glad he came back down, because otherwise I have to start the level over again.
Yeah. You could definitely tell. There's a lot of like clipping and all that kind of stuff. Like I said, it's a really easy thing to look over because it's not something you really think about a lot. Because when you put down like a blocking box, it's called a blocking box. So, you know, naturally your brain's gonna go like, oh, okay, well, this blocks shit. But then you can go in and kind of like tweak with its like, you know, things and all that to make it only specific to certain things. Which I think that's a really nice thing they do, honestly.
But as we know, us all custom Geo people, is that the blocking boxes don't block 100% of the time. It's more like 99.9% of the time.
Yeah, especially when like that. Yeah, right over there, that vent and shit. Oh yeah. Because the game just doesn't expect you to do that. But yes, I love this vent, man. I really like how he did that. I'm a sucker for visual language. Honestly, I love that stuff.
It's good game design.
It is.
I also love how it's the same vent with the gore pump. It shows how he reuses the same rooms in a new way.
I was about to say, you know, yeah, because a lot of people will tell you that backtracking is like not a good like way to have your game. And I say it depends on how the game's backtracking works. And this is a great way when like visually shit gets different, you know, when the rooms start to kind of change or whatever. Yeah. A great game that did that is the first Devil May Cry, because in that game, when you get to the castle, like everything's pretty much normal and all that, and you go to like a coliseum and then you go back to the castle, but next thing you know, like it's all dark and spooky. Some of the doors have disappeared. Some doors lead to different areas and stuff, and the whole logic of the castle is like completely different. And that's a good way to do backtracking, is just changing it completely. Like, it's familiar, but it's different.
Yeah, well, especially in this map where you backtrack, and as you progress through the map, things get more and more hellish.
Yeah.
But it also does get a little disorienting.
Oh, it definitely can. It can really, you know, confuse you, because you're just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Where am I going?
But that's why he put in the point of interest markers there, so that you don't get lost. But even with those, you still get a little turned around. But it's.
Oh yeah.
I actually like that because he disorients the player just enough to add to that horror theme that he's going for.
Yeah.
Because he'll also do with the sound design. He has like some clanging noises that just keep repeating after a while.
Yeah.
And
I've had ideas of that, so I like that you did that here.
yeah, it keeps you on edge. It's a good way to keep the tension throughout the entire map. Because normally in a horror map, it's like you're building up tension until the first demon encounter, and then after that, maybe it just turns into a straight-up action map. But this map does a good job of you're fighting demons the entire time, but it never loses that tension that you would have in a horror map, because he keeps changing, he keeps doing things to make the map mess with your head, so that it keeps that tension.
It's got that custom music going.
Yeah.
There's one map I played a long time ago. I forgot what it was called, but it did something like that, where every time you went to a certain portion of the map, it would change like a lot. I forgot what it was called. But I love stuff like that. Oh boy.
Spawns it. I'm glad he made him weaker at least. That Pinky just spawns in behind me.
I would like to see him do a sequel to this.
Well, actually, I think it's like a to be continued or something.
Yeah.
But did it ever get continued?
Nope, I don't think so.
You hear that, Spindleshanks? You gotta make a Golgotha 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Justin wants it. Justin wants it bad. He likes horror. I'm a horror freak, man. I love this shit.
Wake up.
I like that view from the operating table.
Yeah.
It just reminds you what your actual body is up to, while your mind is going through this hell. At least that's how I interpret the story. I could be wrong. He's pretty vague about what the actual story is. Kind of up to your imagination.
Sometimes being vague about it is good.
For some reason, when I was first playing the map, I did think it was somebody dying on their deathbed, but I thought it was somebody fighting between going to heaven or going to hell. I thought that's what the map was about, personally, but...
You could be right.
Again, I love the custom geo, and it looks so good.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. Spindleshanks loves his Geo.
So good.
He is known.
In fact, Spindleshanks was actually the first author I played that made something custom Geo. It was one of the Wolfenstein levels. I can't remember which one it was.
Like Eisenstein.
Eisen something.
Back into hell.
Eisenstein or something? Eisenstein, I think.
I like that Mankiewicz placement.
Oh yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, they're just up there taking pot shots at you.
You can do a lot of fun turret moments with Mankiewicz's, honestly, like that. I'm actually currently doing that with Devil May Doom right now.
The only problem is it's so hard to get them staying up there. Like,
there are ways. Usually what I do is I put like a blocking box in front of them and surround them with it so they just don't move. And if they try to move forward, they just can't go forward.
Well, they don't.
I think he did that there too.
I don't think they move on a blocking box anyway, or at least
They can. It's kind of like, yeah, as you can see, he's walking on it. So they can. It's just a matter of their animation.
That's bizarre. How is he able to walk on a blocking box and suspended in air?
I believe it's because that particular. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry. You continue.
That particular attack has a walking section of its animation.
I see.
And I believe like normally walking is like its own separate thing as well.
I gotcha.
So I can definitely see that being the case.
I have no idea what that switch actually does.
Yeah, me either.
I love how I interpret it this way. It looks like these are like cages and stuff, like cages or like prisons, because it's like got those like cage-looking stuff. I love that design aspect of this. It looks awesome. Now this is the part where I personally got stuck on, and I never completed this method. I'm paying real attention on board.
Yeah, Forrest Williams got stuck here for a long time because he didn't know he was supposed to jump into that. Well, he didn't know to follow the POIs, so he just kind of wandered around until he figured out what to do. He's another good channel you should check out. Those of you listening, gives good feedback.
You can definitely tell, like, when I look at this map, I could definitely see how it's aged, you know. In some areas, it has not aged super duper well. But see, the amazing thing is that, like, I was talking to Pat here about this earlier, is that you should always embrace your old stuff, even if it does have bugs and glitches on it, because you can take a look at it and do better with it. And, like, this map, yeah, it does have bugs, yeah, it does have glitches and all that kind of stuff, but I definitely think Spindles took a lot of things out of this and definitely did a lot better with some of the other things, because this map is really impressive.
Yeah.
It does a lot of really, really great things, but it definitely does have a lot of like little bugs here and there and stuff, and it's definitely noticeable, and it can catch people off guard, but I still think that no matter what, it's still very, very good for what it is, and he gets his point across.
Yeah, as far as the custom geo is concerned, I mean, it looks as good today as, you know, maps people are making today. I think the geo is still top notch.
Oh yeah.
No question about that.
But I think, yeah, I agree. Like some of the AI, you know, taking into account the way the AI clips through things and certain gameplay aspects, I think maybe could have been revised. Like definitely those gore piles, I shouldn't be walking on top of those little ones at least.
Yeah.
I just get hung up on them, you know.
Yeah. Is Bobkins confused?
I think I'm trying to remember how to get back up there.
I actually got up there by cheesing it a little bit. You see those like those wall cages to your right? You can actually climb up those if you know how to jump on them, right? Yeah, and that's how I got back up.
Not gonna lie, I think I was a little confused at this part as well.
This is the part.
It's a bit of a teleporting puzzle. It's like.
That's why I try to make a lot of my maps very linear, so that people don't get confused about where to go.
Yeah.
I never found that. Oh no. No wonder I got stuck.
See, when I played custom geo maps, I play them wrong. I try to break them all the time.
Oh, same here.
The map breaker.
That's my thing, man. I try to break everyone's map. But I do it because I care.
Well, sometimes you find a secret.
I break your map because I want you to get better.
Like I know Dark Sniper in his Lost Mission series, he takes into account the mountain goat effect, and he'll like hide you know, extra points and stuff up on ledges and things like that.
Yeah.
I always go for the mountain goat, but if I think I can break the map and jump out of it, I tend not to.
Yeah, me too. Like I'll take a look at it and gander at it, but then I'll just hop right back into the map.
Yeah, because I don't actually want to have to restart.
Yeah. Ugh. I like how he did that.
Yeah.
How he put the interactable there.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
And you had to touch the.
I wonder if he put one of those buttons. See, look at that. I love how Spindleshanks will do this. He'll like make a face out of props.
That's cool.
This part actually did.
This.
So fucking cool.
I like how this room is supposed to kill you.
It's sort of like you're
Like,
being
you're supposed-
cremated, like you're in a crematorium
Yeah.
or something.
Like you're supposed to die here, and
I
stuff.
survived it.
Wait, you can survive this?
Oh yeah, I survived this.
Oh, I was always under the impression that you just go until you die.
Oh,
I don't think
I mean,
there's a
I'm
set
starting
number
to
of
think
lives,
that
is
as
there?
well, but it eventually, if you survive long enough, it does eventually.
What makes this room so difficult is not really the enemies that spawn, it's the fires around.
Yeah.
I would, from all the things I've seen, I thought it would be like the arena itself because it's so small.
That too.
Oh, you die. Oh, you'd actually. Oh, okay, so it is on a timer. Okay. I was under the impression that you had to die.
Oh,
Everything about this room is just designed to kill you.
Yeah.
it's supposed to wreck you.
Like that's the point of the room. You know, Silent Hill did something like that. In the first Silent Hill, you actually have to die in the alleyway, in one of the game's alleyways, in order to continue the game.
It just reminds me of one of the original two Dooms, where like when you beat the map, you actually get transported to hell, and you're just surrounded by
Yeah.
demons that just claw you to death.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if you had God mode feet, you could survive that.
Oh, here we go.
If he really wanted you to die, he could just spawn you in a room.
I always assumed those two holograms were the doctors that were like debating over your death or who was responsible or something.
Yeah. That too. And then, boom.
Look through the mirror.
Oh, I love
That's an awesome ending.
What a great way to
That's
end
a
the
really
map.
awesome ending. Yeah.
that. Yeah, that really.
Yep, to be
That
continued.
freaked me out the first time I saw that.
Don't forget Spindleshanks. To be continued.
Yeah, I don't believe it ever was, but
For now. Right, Spindleshanks?
oh man. All right, so that was Golgotha.
Probably one of
That was
the
awesome.
way better horror snap maps out.
I gotta say, that's probably the I've only played a handful of horror maps, honestly, but that's probably the best one I've played so far, just because he uses so many different techniques to sell the tension in the map. Whether it's sound or jump scares or just the ambiance that he creates, just the atmosphere overall.
Oh yeah. Yeah, horror. You see, horror is not a very easy thing to do. Snap map, and I for one have also dabbled in horror with Fatal Silence, and you can do a lot of really neat things in there. It depends on how you create it, because like we were saying earlier, if you just give the player like, I don't know, a pistol with 30% run speed and just throw a bunch of like imps, pinkies, and shit, and make everything dark, it's not a good horror map at all. You see, you have to build tension. You have to build, you have to build some sort of like emergency type situation for the player to keep on going. And if you don't do that, you don't get that tension. The player just goes, well, this is tedious.
Yeah.
And I think this map does that really well.
It keeps you on edge the entire time.
Yeah, and it definitely can. Especially if you're susceptible to, spooky stuff, and all that kind of stuff. I myself don't really get scared of these maps anymore, but I won't lie, and I will say that I do love the atmosphere that like any horror map like this brings. Because after Fatal Silence, I've had the fortunate thing to play a bunch of other really awesome horror stuff that really does a lot of great things with sound. Because one of the key best things to do when you make a horror map is sound design. Sound design is very, very important. And if you do not experiment with sound design and you're making a horror map, you gotta start, because you can do some crazy stuff with sound effects.
Oh yeah.
In this game, and it's great, or any game in general. Really, it's a very vital, important thing. But yeah.
And that's something that this map definitely brings too. I definitely noticed when I was playing it, he does a lot with the sound design.
Mm-hmm.
And especially just there's like this. I mean, for the beginning part, he has like the piano keys that introduce the player, and it's pretty rare that people actually do that with their maps. I know that who's the guy that makes all the COD zombie maps? Stony Fever. He makes some really good.
Is that Stony?
I think it is. He makes some really good melodic intros using custom notes.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
But yeah, just like the at some point he just starts making like these same banging sounds in this map in Golgotha. The author just starts making these banging sounds that just start to repeat, and they are a little bit annoying, but they also kind of just like it just sort of is in the back of your mind the whole time, like you're trying to navigate this map and fight people, and you hear this clanging noise that just keeps repeating over and over again, and I gotta try not to bang the desk again, stop the microphone like I did last time. But yeah, it was. It's just those little details that just add to the tension and work for this
little
map
details.
So well.
Yeah, little details are that's another very important thing for horror maps as well, is the little things, or any map in general. Like, I love the little things. I always have.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Now I gotta say, so that I'm not accused of just saying, I can't say too many nice things about a map, right?
No.
God forbid. So there are a few things about this map that do I get on my nerves a little bit. For one, like I said, that first little slapstick moment where you see the Baron farting, and it's pretty funny, right? In itself.
But it is out of place.
But in the context of this map, it just does not work.
I think it shouldn't have been so easy to find. I think that's probably its biggest issue. I think it being in the map doesn't really overly harm it, but what makes it harm it is how easy it is to find. Right. If that was like something really difficult to find just out of nowhere,
like an Easter egg.
Like an Easter egg.
Yeah.
Then I'm like, okay, I gotcha. But yeah, for me, it's really just down to the ammo. I think me personally, it would have been a way better decision if ammo was not so like everywhere, and the fact that it's universal. I would have liked it if it was like you actually had to be smart with the ammo.
You want a little bit of ammo starvation.
Yeah, ammo starvation, because that really can get a player on their toes as well. But it also really kind of depends on how you balance the enemies as well, and stuff. You really got to think about, when it comes to ammo, you also have to think about enemy placement and enemy health and all that kind of stuff. But I think personally that's my biggest quip, is that because I'm such a sucker for horror, that when I'm given too much ammo, it's like, oh man, I'm not on the edge of my seat. I'm not running around scared for ammo. And I think if there was an update that kind of made it that way, for me, this map would be A1 for sure.
Yeah. But this map, I don't think is really set up to be a horror survival map, where that would work out as well. This is more of a horror action map.
It's definitely a lot more horror action for sure, yeah.
But it didn't bother me, but I could see where you could be making a point with that. Mm-hmm. Another thing that did actually bother me, though, was there's also a lot of places in this map where you can get hung up on things, whether it's
you get stuck on
tight little hallways where you can't maneuver, or if there's props like rocks or gore piles that he made solid so that you have to step over them. You can't just run through them.
Yeah. You see, that also affects AI as well. That doesn't just affect the player. That definitely affects the way the AI behave as well. Because as you saw, that Hell Knight that shot up into the ceiling,
oh yeah,
I don't think that was supposed to happen. And yeah, like especially like not only just items on the ground walking through, but also like just some of the geo itself, enemies were able to walk through and all that kind of stuff. It's an oversight, and sometimes you like a creator doesn't think about that kind of stuff, but you'll learn and all that. But yeah, you can get hung up on stuff easily. I definitely did on that first section. You fight the two Hell Knights. I actually got cornered, and I could not get out of like a pile of rocks at all, and it was definitely a little irritating. But yeah, that's definitely something for sure to look out after.
All right, do we want to go into some final thoughts and wrap this up?
Yeah, sure.
Or
Okay.
Someone have something to add?
I've already said a bunch, so I'll wait till the end.
I'll go then. This map is really cool. I like the way it was built. I like the environment. It has its flaws, but I still say pretty good map.
Well said. What about you, Count Lazuli? What do you think about Golgotha?
I mean, looking over and place fart joke, I would say that I really like the way it not only uses its sound design for the horror element, but it goes to show that maybe just one or two rooms, you can make some very well placed level design. And again, I've already said it, but it shows you how to do it in a level editor. Those are my thoughts.
Okay, I wasn't sure if you cut out because you do that
sorry.
from time to time. Okay, great.
I'm a ghost.
So what about you, JMX? What do you think about Golgotha?
I think it's a really great one that people should definitely play, especially if you're into horror. If you're not, if you're one to look at, SnapMap and go, there's not anything good horror wise, you should definitely check out Golgotha. I mean, like a lot of people when you play Doom, like especially if it's Doom SnapMap and the way it is, you don't think of it as anything else but Doom. And all that. Sometimes you do have to kind of turn your brain off from that fact, but I think Golgotha does its job, and I think it does its job well. It has flaws. It's got some weird glitches. You get stuck on things. Ammo, is a little out there and all that. But I think overall, this is a must play if you're really into something that's kind of spooky and all that kind of stuff. SnapMap overall, can't really make a person so scared. There are limitations we creators have to do, but I definitely think that this one in particular can do some really really good things with a horror vibe, and not a lot of maps unfortunately can do that and stuff. But I think it's a really good one that people should play it, and oh yeah, for sure, I'd say that's what I gotta say.
Couldn't agree more. My final thoughts are, like you said, fantastic horror map. Honestly, it really should be in that, top 5, top 10 in the horror category. Unfortunately, the cream doesn't always rise to the top as far as the way the Doom maps are situated in the rankings. It's a lot of the diamonds sink to the bottom, sadly. So I'm glad we're able to shine some light on this hidden gem here. But everything about it,
dirt to find diamonds.
It does. You got to do some digging. But it it is a beautiful example of a horror map done well. He didn't just shut off the light and then make you slow as hell. Like during the entire map, you always have a decent amount of visibility. You can see what you're doing. You can see where you're going, who you're fighting. You don't have to take away a player's visibility to create a spooky atmosphere. And I think Spindleshank shows you how to do that in this map with his use of sound design, disorienting the player by using launchers to shoot them across a room or cut scene to something, or just having demons appear in certain areas to spook you or startle you. there's a lot of ways he just does a really great job with sustaining that tension throughout the entire map. You know, a lot of horror maps, I think, it's spooky up to a point, and then it reaches a climax where maybe the first encounter happens, and then it's just an action map after that. But this map does a good job of ramping up the tension, and then you get some nice battles thrown in, and then it goes back to being tense and scary, and then you get more battles. So it's not just all one or the other. He just bounces back and forth, and I like how it keeps that even keel throughout the entire map. And I just gotta say, the custom geo is just, you know,
it's great. It's not the best of Spindleshanks I've seen. I've definitely seen him do a lot more crazier shit, but for what he made when it comes to like horror, it's really good. It's his geo is, to me, it's some of my favorite geo. Honestly, I've been playing his maps ever since I started my channel, and it's some good shit. Honestly, it's really, really good.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's all I have to say. That's all I have to say about Golgotha for the time being. Thank you guys for joining me, and thanks everybody for listening. If you have any maps you'd like to recommend for us to review next, go ahead and leave them in the comments, and we'll check them out, or at least consider checking them out. And if you actually want to be part of the next Snapcast video, join us on the Discord, and you can go ahead and be part of it. So thanks for watching. Yeah. Thanks for listening. Thanks to Count Lazuli, JMX5000, and Mr. Patrick for joining me today. And thanks, of course, to Spindleshanks for making this fantastic horror map. Until next time, peace out.